So I'm not going to preface my review for 28 Years Later with any kind of warning. I'm just going to tell you guys flat out 28 Years Later might be the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life in a movie theater and didn't walk out of. It's one of the most ridiculous pieces of filmmaking probably since Schumacher put nipples on the batsuit. That's how bad this movie is. It's such a disappointment. It's such a letdown. Which is sad for me because I was super pumped for it. It was one of my most anticipated movies of the year, in my top 5 movies that I needed to see. It's the trailer of the year. That trailer that they first released was terrifying, with the Rudyard Kipling poem Boots in the background just blaring over this apocalyptic dystopian hellscape that people are living in. Giant rage monsters are running around. I was sold on the whole thing. The whole trailer looked mesmerizing, but the movie itself fell flat on its face. And look, it's not all bad. There's things to like in this movie. There's things that are good. The first hour of this movie, first hour to 45 minutes, is fantastic. Aaron Taylor Johnson's one of the best parts. The problem is he's not in it the whole time. He's only in it for the first 42 minutes, then he disappears for the rest of the time and comes back and for the final 5 minutes. That's it. And the first hour works is because Danny Boyle is such an incredible director. He gives us some ridiculous landscape shots. The cinematography and the way he captures this world that people are living in nowadays is fascinating. And we get to see Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, Jamie Bond, with his son Spike. It kind of reminded me of Cormac McCarthy's The Road. This father and son duo is out there, braving the harsh times and, trying to hunt on the mainland while also avoiding these rage monsters that can tear them to pieces at any point. And they've also expanded on the rage virus. We get to see alphas now, which are these big hulked up steroid versions of the zombies we saw in 28 Days Later and 28 Years Later. This movie should have worked. It's the first team up between Alex Garland and Danny Boyle since 2007 Sunshine, one of my favorite sci-fi films of all time. This is the duo that did 28 Days Later in 2002, so 23 years ago. They're finally teaming up again to do this. And look, most of the time when it comes to Sony, I blame it on studio interference, but this looked like all creative decisions for me. The second hour of this movie is so bad and terrible in every way. It's not anything you expect it to be. It just kind of happens. You can ask Real Takes. I'll tag him in this review. He was sitting next to me while I was watching it. I think I threw my hands up in the second hour of this movie about 4 times and just asked, I was like, what the was that? What are we doing right now? What is this? We sat there for a final hour of this movie, learned absolutely nothing, and it had nothing to do with what we came to know for 28 Years Later. It was just them wandering around on the mainland looking for a doctor. Ray Fiennes is only in the movie for 30 minutes, if that. And then the last 5 minutes happens and you're like, what in the world was that? What? It went from a post-apocalyptic zombie movie to, remember that show on AMC, Into the Badlands, where they were just doing crazy kung fu stuff, and that happened? I was like, was Danny Boyle directing this and he just gave the reins off to Guy Ritchie here for the last 6 minutes? What is this right now? If you're going to this movie to see Cillian Murphy or Jack O'Connell, you're going to be sadly disappointed. Cillian's not in this movie. Jack O'Connell shows up in about the last 3 minutes, and it's just there to set up the next movie, which comes out in January of 26, which is 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, which they filmed back to back with this. I just don't know what this was supposed to be. All the elements you had to make this movie work in this universe to come back for the first time in a long time was there, and it just fell flat on its face. It would look like you were watching 2 different movies between the first hour and the second hour. The first hour was really good. It was really good footing and a base to set, and the second hour was just ridiculous nonsense that they were just let's just shoot this and release it. Characters were showing up out of nowhere for no reason whatsoever. If I was going to compare it to anything, I'd tell you that 28 Years Later is more or less the Prometheus of the 28 Days Later series. It's a movie that should have worked, but it got stuck so far up its own ass because the creators were away for so long and delivered something that nobody wanted. And that's kind of what Ridley Scott did with Prometheus. And then it became better on other watches, but this initial watch is a disaster. I'm trying to say as much as I can without giving away any spoilers so you guys can see it. Look, I'm never going to advise you not to see a movie. I want you guys to see it. I want to know what you think. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. But for me, this movie was an unmitigated disaster. It sadly gets a 2. I wanted to say 1.5, but the first hour kind of saved it, so I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5 for me. You guys will be able to see it when it comes out tomorrow, 6/19. Let me know what you think.